Hi, I'm Debbie Raymond.
Hi, and I'm Bob McDermott. Welcome to Paranormal and Beyond. We have a great guest tonight. Lisa Ouellet is with us. Thank you for coming, Lisa.
It's a pleasure to be here.
I have to forewarn our audience tonight, because we not only have one of the best mediums in New England, we have one of the best psychics in New England.
Yes, we do.
So there's so much energy in this room that I'm afraid the light bulbs are going to start.
It's true.
Explode. Yeah.
That's so funny.
And getting ready to air this, they started already going at it.
Yes.
So, Lisa, one of the questions we ask a lot of people is, how did you get interested in becoming a psychic?
Okay, well, that's interesting. Back in the 80s, when I was growing up, I didn't really know too much about psychic phenomenon. If you remember going to the bookstores, everything was in the occult section. And I kind of started off through astrology. I was very interested in astrology books and numerology books and palmistry books, and I started reading a little bit about that. And it just kind of naturally worked its way into it. I bought a deck of regular playing cards and taught myself how to read a regular deck of playing cards,
Wow.
And I remember being in high school in my Spanish class, and I remember, like on breaks and stuff, I'd be reading my friends, through, like the 4 of hearts means this, and the 6 of diamonds means this, I to this day, I don't know how to do that anymore. I read angel cards now, but back then when I was, 17, 18, that's what I was doing. I was reading regular cards.
So does astrology, as we know it today, enter into being a psychic?
I don't know if it enters in, but I mean, I think if you're generally, in my opinion, if you're interested in one, you're interested in another,
Okay, so there's a linkage there at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I think it's a preference. I think it's what kind of readings people would want. If they want a mediumship reading, if they want a psychic reading, angel card, or an astrologer, or a numerologist. They're all vastly different. So I think that it all depends on the preference of the client.
But I do think that they kind of play in together. Like on my YouTube, I do YouTube videos for psychic readings, and I list them by your astrology sign, so by zodiac signs. You know what I mean? Yeah. So for people that I'm an Aries, so if you'd want to watch your psychic reading for the month, you'd watch for the Aries. So it kind of.
So it does tie into it.
A little bit.
Into that. Yes.
So when somebody is looking for a medium, a psychic, something like that, how do they choose? Tell our audience, how would I choose if I wanted either a psychic or a medium?
I think for me, the best way to choose, you probably agree with this, is energy. I mean, your vibration, you can walk into a room and there can be 10 psychics or mediums, and you're going to know who you're drawn to, either by their face, their energy, the vibration they're giving off, or even if you're just looking at a picture, sometimes you just know energetically who you connect with.
So it's a physical thing. Is that fair to say?
Energetic.
Sometimes it can be physical, because, and I know Lisa can relate to this as well.
Yeah.
If I see a client for the first time, I hear many times, "You're not what I expected."
Yeah.
And I say, well, what did you expect? So sometimes they expect the beads,
the gypsy
and
look,
the hippie look, and the big
earrings,
shirts and
crystal
ball, and everything else. And then when they see, a different kind of form of a medium or a psychic, we hear a lot of, "You're not what I expected." So it's pretty interesting.
Was the gypsy movement, as we know it from movies and stuff like that, was that really the foundation of what a psychic is today? Was that the beginning stages of that? Or was that really just...
I don't think so either. I think there have been... You're going back in time to way before the gypsies. They've been prophets, there have been seers, there have been, going back to the Middle Ages, or even probably before that, Egypt, way, way, way before gypsies were around, I think.
So what's the difference, let's say, between a prophet, a seer, is that the correct word? A seer or a psychic? Or is there a difference?
I personally don't think that there is. I think it's just the word that you use that you're more comfortable with. Psychics get a bad rap because I think a lot of people think of, they have the word, I don't want to say fraud because psychics aren't frauds, but a lot of people hear the word psychic and they think of, that 800 number that you would call and get those pay $10 and you get a reading or whatever from this psychic or whatever. But a lot of people use the word intuitive.
Which I like it.
Intuitive is better. But seer, prophet, they all do the same thing. They're all for to some degree. They're all
Yes.
foretelling,
Right.
tuning
And
into energy.
I think it depends on the historic time. I think it depends on what country you live in. I think it depends on religion. I think
Absolutely.
it depends on
Really?
many different things of what they call someone who has the ability to have visions.
Right.
So I think there are different titles and names for them. And let us also, suggest this as well, is there are, no matter what you do, whether you're a construction worker or a psychic, there's good and bad in
Oh.
everything.
Sure there is.
So, going back to your question of how would you, make sure that someone is the right, the real deal, the right one. We try to go by referrals are fantastic. Energy, what Lisa said, is spot on. Whether you like someone or not
Right.
once you see them. And
Word of mouth,
referrals,
yeah.
word of mouth is really good.
Right.
Look at testimonials. But if you're a first-time person who's never had a reading before, and we had just discussed this, is someone should say or ask people that they know and trust, do you know anyone
Right.
who's an excellent psychic or an excellent medium, an excellent astrologer? Just so I'm interested in getting a reading.
Right.
Because we understand that they work hard for their money as well.
Right.
And so do we. So
And everybody reads differently.
And everyone reads
Yeah.
differently. So you have to find someone that fits you perfectly.
Right.
Because we find that when you find someone that you work with that works with you well, it just comes out that much smoother,
Right.
and you're able to get the information that you're looking for.
Yeah, when the energy resonates between
Right.
the client and the medium or the psychic or whatever,
Yes.
the time goes like that, and you blink your eyes and like, wow, our session's over.
Exactly.
Like that felt like 5 seconds.
Right.
I think the
It's
other
true.
thing too, that in order to sustain a career or profession for any length of time, the clientele have to believe in you,
Yes.
or they wouldn't keep coming back.
Right.
Yes.
Right. I mean,
Absolutely.
So that has to somehow weed out some of the frauds that exist. And by the way,
Yes.
it should be noted there are frauds in UFO investigators,
right.
ghost hunters.
Right.
I mean, unfortunately, anytime that we get into a non-licensed, non-certification
Right.
Right.
type of deal, people can just jump in.
Right.
And that's sad because they really do damage.
Of
Which
course
we
they
have
do.
seen.
Oh.
We've seen
Firsthand.
and
Sure.
because I'm 12 years in, even though I've been doing it since I was 2, business-wise, it's been open for 12 years,
Right.
and she's been years as well.
Yep.
So, but we've seen those come and go, and those
Mm.
wonder, how come I don't have the business? How come I don't have
Sure.
this? It takes a lot of work and
Hard work.
respect, and it is because. Would you say that there's a time where we actually have to maintain ourselves in order
Oh,
to
100%.
to give this to clients or events or classes, whatever it is that you're doing?
Oh, yeah.
Would you say that you have to maintain it? What would be some of the points that you would have to do to maintain it?
Well, you have to keep your physical body up to par too, and I mean like physically your health. You have to get enough sleep. You have to be eating right. You have to be
Right.
getting the minerals and the vitamins that you need. But I mean, if you're depressed or if you're going through a family
huge.
situation or a
Yeah.
personal crisis or whatever, you have to buck up. You got to meditate.
It's
You got to do what you got to do. You got to watch videos. You got to be
Right.
alone sometimes. You got to go out. You got to do whatever you need to
You
do
really
to get
do.
yourself into that place of being okay, because you can't help somebody else if
Right,
you're
if you're
energetically
yourself.
not there. And then
Yeah.
mentally and spiritually, that just follows after the physical. And
That's a fantastic
yeah.
answer. And what I loved what you said, though, is sometimes we have to be alone.
absolutely.
I gotta tell you, I need to be alone a lot, and it's because what people don't realize is when you work with energy, we're hardly ever alone.
Yeah.
So
It's
true.
even if you're a psychic, you're hardly ever alone because you're feeling everything that comes
Yeah.
through.
Around you.
And,
The empath
and
part
we
of us.
support each other because
Absolutely.
we're very good friends.
Yep.
I want the viewers to know that, and everything, when we work, okay, the other thing as well is every client, as you would say, would they all have different topics as to why they would go and see you? And
Right.
so like what would be some of the things that they would want to go and see you
Oh,
for?
I think the most common is relationships, career, or finances. I
Right.
think,
Right.
those are the things that people struggle with the most, whether it's personal romantic relationships or whether
Yes.
it's family relationships,
Yes.
relationships between people are tricky. And
Yes.
and then finances, everybody's at some point in their life or another, they're concerned about money, whether they
Yes.
have, I was going to say whether they have too much or not enough, but
Sure.
usually
Sure.
generally not
Right.
enough. But
Right.
or where should they go on their spiritual path? Because I'm a spiritual psychic too.
Yes.
So I do a lot of spiritual work too. So I think a lot of people come to me when they're at a crossroads and they don't know where to go with their life.
So this leads into the next question of what I want to ask her, because I think it's important for the viewers to know this, since we're always talking about things that are unknown.
Right.
Is what sources would you say you use in order to help your clients? And I'm talking outside sources, because we talk about guides and we talk about a higher
Yeah.
source. We talk about different energies and feelings. And so what is it that you use in order to be able to provide your clients with
In
great
addition,
service?
in addition to using my intuitive ability?
Yes.
Basically the only tool that I use outside of that are angel cards. I read angel
Right.
cards.
Well, what I mean is like from a
Okay.
higher source. Like, so you have spirit guides.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I connect with my spirit guides. I
Yes.
connect with angels.
Right.
I'm very connected to the angelic realm.
Exactly.
That's where I feel my strongest connection is.
Yes.
The angels. They're such a high vibration, and I feel so connected to them.
Yes.
Whereas you, with your mediumship,
Yes.
it's a totally different vibration. And
Yeah.
even though we've talked about this because we're friends,
Right.
but even though I have the medium ability and I am technically a medium,
Yes.
it's not something that I
Right.
like to do. It's a different energy, and I feel so much more connected to the angelic realm,
That's
which is
right.
at a different frequency.
It is,
And,
it
and I'm not
is.
saying the mediumship is
Oh,
on a
not
lower
at all.
frequency.
We
It's on a
totally
different
understand.
vibration,
Yes.
and it's harder for me to shift. Some people can shift like that.
Yes.
It's harder for me to shift
Yes.
from the angels.
And see, I'm like that. I shift very easily
Yeah.
to one thing to the next. So,
Yeah.
but that's a great way to explain it. And this is why when we talked earlier about what clients, how can they look for that certain person
Yeah.
that they would want to have a reading from? That's a classic example. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, what is that you're looking for? That's the most important thing first.
Right.
So when someone is looking for angel readings, I will say I have this person
Right.
because I know that she
Okay,
does
so-
it.
And I refer people to you for
Yes.
mediumship
So
as
how
well.
about a novice here, okay?
Yes.
Yep.
You just said when you're looking for an angelic type of reading.
Yes.
So tell me the difference. When you read somebody who has passed,
Yes.
you actually are getting a message
Yes.
from that person,
As
correct?
if they were sitting at the table with
Right.
us.
So
Yeah.
somehow you hear that person's voice.
Just like how
Okay.
you're speaking.
So
Yes.
so on the angelic side
Yep.
of it, because you said I deal with angels.
Yeah, angels and spirit guides.
So are you
mostly, yep.
kind of hearing the same thing Debbie's hearing, only from an
Yes.
angelic?
Yeah,
Right.
I'm
Well,
not.
that's
I'm not
correct.
talking to the person that has crossed over. Generally, I'm hearing it from the person's guides, my guides, or the angel that I'm connecting with
Right,
at that time.
right,
And it doesn't sound like their voice. I'm hearing it in
Right.
my own
Right.
head. So I'm intuiting the information, I guess, really is what I'm
Right,
doing. I'm
yeah.
hearing it, but it sounds like my own thoughts.
Well-
But I know it's not
And
me
that's-
because when messages are coming through that I don't even know what they're saying,
Right.
it's not like I'm making that up,
Yeah.
Exactly.
but it's not coming
So,
through
so
in a
you're
voice.
not hearing words. You're not hearing.
Sometimes I am.
You
Yes.
are.
Yeah.
So sometimes
Yes.
you do
Yeah,
hear.
Right.
yeah. So, but I'm I don't know how. It's hard to
Intuitive
explain.
stuff to explain.
It,
It
well,
is,
no,
very
I mean I'm not trying to be weird about it. Sometimes I hear the words. Sometimes I hear. It's an impression. It's like psychic charades. I tell all my clients. It's like psychic charades. I'm like,
Right.
if they
Putting
show
pieces
if they
together.
show me a mouse, sometimes I might think I might say like Disney World or whatever. They're
Yep.
showing me Mickey Mouse, and I'll think
Right.
it's Disney World, so I'll say that. When in turn the person's been dealing with a mouse issue in their house, but the client knew right away what I was talking about. But they're showing me Mickey
that's
Mouse.
how it comes through.
Yeah. So
Yes.
sometimes it's pictures and things
Yes,
like that.
It is, and that's I also try to do the same thing as well. Is it comes through in sound, visions.
Right.
Sometimes they show us pictures, symbolisms.
Really?
It's smells,
different clairs.
taste. Oh my gosh,
Right.
yes.
Do you control how that?
No.
So you have no control over it.
No.
No.
Whether it's coming through in pictures or sound
No.
or vibrations.
No,
or-
Right.
but however,
It just comes through that way.
That's true, but
Yeah.
however, we have a time limit. So when that reading's done, it's done.
Right.
So our spirit guides, right,
Right.
know when to shut it off and you're done.
Yeah.
Because if we continue past that, we get exhausted.
Yeah.
So they know
Yeah, I
what
would
our
think,
the
I
limitation
would think the energy
is.
that
It's-
you put into it.
Right.
Right.
Because those spirit guides are really using your energy
That's
to
exactly.
communicate with.
That's
correct?
right.
Yeah,
Right.
so-
People
you
might
go.
think that getting a reading, oh, that person isn't really doing too much work there, but it's so energetically draining.
really
It
is.
can be draining
I bet
because
it is.
it's a lot of
is.
work.
I
I
bet
had
it
But it's
someone
fun.
say to me that it must be nice to be able to just sit at home in your chair all day and make money. And I was
Wow.
just shocked. And I was like, okay, apparently you have no idea like how hard this is. You know what I mean? I couldn't even believe I told Lisa that actually happened.
Yeah.
And it's not easy. We are responsible for whoever we are talking to.
Right.
We are responsible for what they're looking for. They're looking for guidance.
Right.
And it's not as easy as anyone thinks. It's not, it's something actually very difficult, and we take it quite seriously.
Right.
And whether it's psychic or whether it's mediumship or any, anything else, when you respect your field, there's a lot that goes in it. And we truly respect, and I know she does as well.
Right.
Anyone that comes through our door.
Absolutely.
So how much training is involved? I mean, I sometimes think when we're on the show, we'll ask, how do you start this? And somebody will always come back and say, oh, I was very young when I started. I think our Bigfoot investigator was 5 years old or something like that. So, but I want people to know that the foundation of being a psychic or a medium, is that in everybody? I mean, can someone be trained to be a psychic?
I think the answer to that is yes and yes. I think everybody is born with psychic or maybe not mediumship ability, but everybody, because mediums and psychics are different, but I think everybody's born with a little bit of psychic ability. How much you tune into it, how much you decide to develop that or even acknowledge it, I think is depending upon, everybody has intuition. You have that gut feeling. You walk into a room, you know automatically if you like that person or you don't. Whether you realize it or not, your gut clenches, you get that. That's where your intuition center is, right? It's right behind your belly button. That's your solar plexus, your third chakra. And you know right away when you walk into a room, if you get that clenched gut feeling, that's your intuition talking. Whether you pay attention to that or not, that's a completely different story. But even if you don't pay attention to that and you decide that you want to take classes later on, absolutely. Both of us teach different aspects of classes to mediumship, psychic ability, whatever. And the more you decide that you want to develop that skill, the better you can. For me specifically, the more energy classes I took when I started taking Reiki and IET and things like that, that's when my gifts, my intuitive ability became even stronger. I don't know if it was the same for you, but you maybe you were born with yours. Maybe I was too, but I didn't realize mine until probably my teenage years. But then, in my late 20s and 30s when I was taking energy classes, I'd have my hands over somebody and I'd be doing Reiki on them and I'd be talking to the person across from me and I'd say, they have 2 kids, a boy and a girl, and I would just hear this information.
Really?
Then I would ask the client, so do you have any children? And they would tell me, yeah, I have, 2 sons and a daughter. And I'd be like, haha, like I knew that, Like I was just excited with myself that my gifts were coming in stronger.
Right.
So one thing I love to say to go back on is when you said that we are born with it, because it's true. We were born with this, okay? Everyone is born with some kind of intuitiveness. And what happens is we get raised. And whether it's who raises you, who shows you, who teaches you, then you go through fear and anxiety, and it's no to this, and it's yes to that, and all of a sudden it kind of spirals and we lose it. That's what ends up happening. And see, I have goosebumps. And some of us are lucky to be able to recognize it very young, like when I was very young, and be able to monitor it and maintain it even when I was a child, because I was lucky enough to hear who on the other side was telling me what to do, because basically they didn't want me to lose it. And that's it. So everyone kind of goes through their own process of it, but we are all born with it.
And you're lucky. Your children are lucky because they have your gift and you're raising them that way. My grandchildren have my gift too. My daughter has my gift too. I'm not sure as they progress in life whether they're going to use it or not.
Does your daughter use it?
She does a little bit to this day. When she was younger, when she was 12, she was certified in Reiki, and she had really strong mediumship abilities. I think as she's gotten older, she might have just put that aside for the time being. But my grandchildren, I've seen it in my granddaughter, and she's come out with some things that are completely psychic. There's no way that she could have known, and she's only 4, so that's exciting to see. For me, I'm like, wow, she's got the gift.
Are there any basic tests to give young children? Did they take any?
Well,
I mean, I always remember.
I do. I sharpen my kids' minds all the time.
Yeah, so. I remember these tests they used to have with cards.
With the cards? I had, yes.
Hold a card, and you couldn't see it, and you'd pick a circle, a square, a triangle.
We use that in my intuition class.
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
Wow.
Yep.
So you can actually do that with children to see.
Yeah.
And how kids think how they believe it's exciting is a regular deck of cards.
Right.
And there's red and black.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So
you're
and
asking.
before you do it, you decide red and black, and the kids love it because it's just
Yep.
a deck of cards. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, sure.
you look at it as a game. And then the envelope thing that we use
Yep.
is there's different pictures. I try to put fun pictures in there for the kids, or movie tickets in there, or a scratch ticket.
I do
in
it with
there.
colors, different sticky note pads,
Yes,
colors.
different
You know what I
sticky
mean?
notepads.
Like try to figure out which
yeah.
colors in
and
it.
they think
Yep.
it's a great game, but you know what? They get it right.
Yep.
So it's the funniest thing.
So looking at that.
Or
if-
rolling dice.
Yes,
What's
rolling
the
dice.
total of the dice?
10 of those envelopes with
Yep.
colors in
Yes,
them, okay?
yep.
How many would they pick correctly?
It depends on the.
Sometimes,
yours?
sometimes I give them like 5 envelopes like this, and I'll have them pick 1 or 2.
Yeah.
And
Like-
then kind of put them in their laps or their hands.
Kind of
and then
hold
do
it, feel the
Yes,
energy. Does
yes.
it feel hot? Does it
So
feel
how
cold?
accurate are they? 75% of
They
the time?
usually are accurate all the time, my kids.
So almost 100%?
Yes.
Wow.
Because you're making it as a game. So when you do it positive and fun,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
and not stressing out about it, they usually get it right.
Wow.
So, but we find when you add fear, stress, anxiety
Yeah.
to it,
Yeah.
they get it wrong. So you add,
Well,
you
that's
make it
something,
fun.
huh?
That's
Yeah.
why, like, if
Yeah.
I put movie tickets in there, scratch tickets, or a $1 bill, you know what I'm saying?
Everybody likes money.
Yes, and they get it because they want that scratch ticket.
So you
They
have this
want that
envelope, and there's a dollar bill, and it's
Yes,
sealed. They
yes.
can't see in it.
Yep.
And you say to your children, we won't mention their names, but you
Right.
say to your children, what's in this envelope?
Yes.
If you can guess it, you can get it, right?
Yes.
Okay,
and-
so
but-
if you guess it, I'm going to give it to you.
That's right. So you start off slow though, because you might give them 10 things on a list that
Yeah.
it could be. You can say it's a picture, it's a Post-it, it's this, it's that. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And they'll look at it and they go, oh no, it's not that, it's not that, and then and then they'll get it. Do you know what I
Right.
mean? So it's
Really?
like, but then you can say, okay, well here's 3 other envelopes. I'm going to give it to you, and then they'll pick it. And so it's very interesting. But that really is
It
how
is.
it is. But you have to remain positive, make it fun,
Right.
and not have any fear and anxiety. Because
Well,
I think
that's the
would
ego
you
getting in
relate
the
to
way.
that?
Yeah, the fear is the
Exactly.
ego saying, "What do you think you know that answer?" You know,
Yeah.
the ego. We want to kick that ego to the back burner all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
yeah.
really
It is
interesting.
very
Yeah.
interesting.
You know, because I'm a big believer in conditioning, especially of children. And-
Yes.
And I think that I grew up in an era, we've talked about this before, where conditioning played a very negative role in a generation, actually, where, you know, if a young girl back in the 50s said, I want to drive a truck, her
I
parents
know.
would say, no, women don't drive
Right.
trucks, you could be a
Right.
nurse.
Right.
If a little boy at 12 back in the 60s said, I think I want to be a nurse, he'd
Right.
be told, no, you got to be a soldier or a policeman, right?
Right.
So the conditioning of those children as they grew up set the stage for them to be adults.
Right.
Right?
Absolutely.
I mean, so what you two are really doing is you're conditioning those children to take a skill that they already have and develop it further.
Right.
Right. I mean, I
Exactly.
think that's great. I think that's
Now,
wonderful.
I want to
Yay
go
to
back
us.
to.
High
Yeah, there you go.
So I want to ask you something else too. What is your routine before you speak to a client? Like what?
I
what is your
meditate
routine?
before I have a client. I usually do like a 5 to 10 minute meditation if time allows in between sessions.
Right.
Sometimes it doesn't.
Yes.
But if I can, I like to just kind of close my eyes. I like to connect with spirit. I like to ask if there's any messages coming through. Just kind of like get me into that zone a little bit. Then when before I actually have the session with the client, I will give them like a little 5-minute spiel of
Yes.
my little spiel of, I like to tell people, I like to just be straight out there honest. I am a psychic medium, but I don't specifically focus on the mediumship aspect of it. And I tell them that if a loved one on the other side is planning on coming through,
Right.
that if I can hear them and if it does come through, I'm more than willing, if they're more than willing, to have that information come through. But I'm mostly going to connect with angels and guides. You know,
Yes.
I talk to them about free will because that's hugely important.
Yes.
As you know, with mediumship, you can
true.
tell somebody whatever you foresee coming, and if they don't take the action required on their part, it's generally, no matter if
That's
it's their father, their mother, or their angel or guide telling them, this is what's going to happen for you, or this could happen for you. If you don't take that personal action that's required of you, and you just sit back and go, nope, not making that change. Clearly,
Right.
it's not a cop-out. It's just that sometimes action is required on our part with the free will.
Yes.
So I like to state
Yes.
that, and then I just basically like to tell them, for you mentioned it earlier too.
Yes.
I get goosebumps all the time
All
as
the
well
time.
too. And for me, It's so huge for me because I tell people all the time, they probably think I'm a freak, but I say
Not at
no,
all.
but I say this all the time. I would say to them, if I asked a question like, should I move to Antarctica and work with, I don't know,
seals,
whatever. Yeah, is that what's in my highest and best? And if I got confirmation goosebumps, I believe in that so strongly that that's what I would do.
Yes.
So I mean, to me, that's like the angels and guides or spirits or loved ones jumping up and down, going, yes, like that's the answer.
Yes.
Can't be anything but.
So do we get a lot of people asking like the lottery numbers and stuff?
People do ask that.
What horse is going to win? Or Patriots going to win the Super Bowl?
And I do get people who joke about that.
Do you really?
So
Yeah.
Oh, they joke
do
about it. But you don't really get a serious client
Yeah.
that sits down and says,
No.
I'm really looking to pick the lottery number.
No.
Yeah, okay. So,
Yes.
so people at least are educated enough to know that's not how it works.
I'm a
Right.
spiritual psychic. I don't
Right.
work that way anyway. And
Right.
you're a spiritual medium.
Even though
Yeah.
I am very good with numbers, I don't and I will not give it out. You
Right.
know? So I play lottery just like everybody else.
Okay, so here's the big question. How often do you win?
So I actually do really well. Even like
I'm actually pretty good at roulette too.
There you go.
That's
all I gotta say.
It's so true. I'm telling you the truth because I'll go on the machine, where at the store, and I'll go and just choose whichever one I usually do, even if it was $5.
I usually get a $1 or $2.
$100. One time I won $140. You know what? It is what it is.
Yeah.
I like to go to Foxwoods and I like roulette. The roulette tables, my friend.
So yeah, it does happen like that.
Yeah, but see,
I can pick red or black.
See, you're like a counter, right? Because
Yes.
you know it's going to be red or black.
I was like,
It's just a
I
matter of-
just hear red, I hear black.
This is so important that you mentioned that because my next question to you is this. A lot of people ask us, do you use it for yourself? Can you see things for yourself? So I'm asking you, can you see things for yourself? Like,
No, that's
for
what
your
I have
own
you
life?
for.
Right, which I totally understand. So, but that's a
It's hard to
question that
read
even
for
the
yourself,
viewers,
yeah.
even
Yeah,
the
it's
viewers
really
would
hard
know.
to read for yourself.
Yes, it
because
is.
your mind gets in the way. Your hopes and your desires and your dreams get in the way, and you want something sometimes so bad that
Emotion.
you can talk yourself into it.
Right.
We talked about this before.
Yes.
There's three parts of the body that I like to talk
Right,
about: the ego,
right.
the mind,
Yes.
the heart, which is your emotions, and your gut, your intuition center. And I like to say, you can never listen to the mind because it'll always tell you whatever it wants to tell you. And the heart, it goes with feelings.
It's
Your gut,
emotion.
your intuition center, never going to lead you wrong.
Yes.
If you don't follow the mind and you don't follow the heart, you're going to be fine as long as you follow that gut. If
Yes.
you
That
follow that gut
intuition,
center,
yeah.
yep, you're never going to go wrong.
It's tough because we are human,
But it's hard when you're in the midst of it.
Exactly,
Right.
and all of us are emotional beings,
Yeah.
and we can be having a terrible time. You can be having a breakup. You can be having
Sure.
financial crisis, whatever, and it's very difficult sometimes for us. Because you want that vision, you want to know what's going to be happening
Yeah.
next. Well, in my the way that I've learned it is I wait and I wait and I wait, and then all of a sudden I'll know when it's the right thing. I know when it's the right decision. I time to pounce, and I do it, and it works out for me. So
Sure.
they don't necessarily, say take out cards and do this, and we'll give you the answer. No, it's different for us
Right.
because they when I talk about it's a higher power than
Absolutely.
us. It's spirit guides. It's whatever we believe in. Show it to us in a different form,
Right.
and it's almost as if, and I have goosebumps. It's almost like patience and patience.
I
We
can't-
say this all the time.
I can't even tell you how many times we've been on the phone late nights,
Patience.
some
Oh,
nights,
yes.
having conversations.
Yes.
And stuff happens when we're on the phone.
All the
Like
time.
we get signs and symbols and confirmation when we're talking about either my stuff or her stuff or
Yes,
whatever.
right.
We definitely get symbols
On
and
the
But
phone.
signs
don't you
on
think
the
this higher
phone.
power, this
Yes.
higher being,
Yeah.
also allows success and failures in our personal lives?
Of course it does.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
really, if it only allowed successes,
Yeah.
you wouldn't be able to relate to failure.
Right,
Absolutely.
right.
That's how we
And what
learn.
kind of life
our
is
our
that?
greatest teacher is our last mistake.
Yeah.
Yes,
That's
it
my
really
point.
is.
So we all in our personal lives,
Right.
outside of what
Yeah.
mediums and psychics do, but the bottom line to it is that failure in life is good because
Yes.
it teaches you
Right.
a lesson. So these higher beings have to kind of let you
And-
fail
Right.
to say, okay,
Right.
Sometimes we're not always right with the information we give, and if
There you
that's
go.
where you're going with that, and a lot of the times
Yeah.
the client, if they're a spiritual or an evolved client, they will realize that the reason that happened is because their guides wanted them to be over here,
And
but
we
they're
know
way
this,
over here.
right.
And their guides know how they work. Your angels and your guides, your loved ones on the other side, they know how you
Yes.
work. If they tell you, go straight at it like this and go for it, and they know you're going to do that and run and move mountains to get it done, and it's going to fail. But if they tell you, okay, well, it's not going to happen, and you're going to, and then you're going to work, however, they know that they know you personally, so they know what to tell you.
True.
And so sometimes it's not what you want to hear, and it seems like it's the wrong answer, but it actually gets you to where you need it to be. Does that make sense?
Spiritualism and religion teaches us that, when somebody, God forbid, loses a child, a young child, I mean, people always say, why does a God let that happen? And there's always a reason. There's always a message there. Whether that message is positive or negative, but there is a message. And it's done for a reason. I don't think any of us today can really say what that reason is.
Do you know?
So if these guides give you a message, and you give it to them, there's a reason they want them to have that message.
That's true.
Whether that message is, hey, there's great things coming, or guess what, it doesn't look real good.
No.
Right.
But you need to have that lesson. And even in religion, a lot of times we don't understand.
Right.
I mean,
No,
read
that's
the Bible.
100%.
The Bible is the most complicated piece of literature on planet Earth, because it can be interpreted 20 different ways in one sentence.
Absolutely.
And I think that's the whole message behind that. So I think spirit guides have to work the same way. They
absolutely
say, okay, here's the
They
message.
do.
You don't have to like the message, but that's the message.
And it's tough even for us to hear our own messages sometimes. I've been slapped a few times from my guides because I can have a stubborn side to me. There's a little bit of a wild side to me.
No, really?
And where I get slapped afterwards and go, you know what, you were going so great, Deb, and all of a sudden you did that, and I'm like, I know. So but because we'll get slapped for it, and the reason why is because
harder than others.
We do, and it hits us hard. Where it's like we want to go like in dormant for 2 or 3 days because we know we screwed up, and we got to get back on the same path. And the reason why that happens is because of the work that we do. We have to maintain ourselves.
Right.
And boy, if you get off that road a little bit, we do get hit from it.
The other thing,
and it's big.
The other thing I say all the time, this is my new favorite statement: I never lose, I always win, or I learn.
Yes.
And it's true. And recently that has been hitting home for me.
Yes.
Well, I've been going through some stuff that just really made me step back and reassess a lot of areas of my life.
And because of not just friendship, but because of what I can do, I was helping you with that and just saying this is what you got to get back to it, because this is what you were meant to do.
Right.
And as soon as you made that decision, she came right back into everything. It was great.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's interesting because when we talk about a spirit guide as somebody higher, and you made a point to say if we were all successful, what kind of world would that be though?
Yeah.
We all can't be successful, and people take successing things to a whole different level. I think if I can make it through the day, that's success.
Right.
I think, you know what I'm saying? Like if it doesn't always have to be monetary. It can be something that's very personal and emotional and physical.
Right.
That if you make it through the day, to me, that is success. You wake up the next day and you say hello to your wife or spouse or your grandchildren. That is success.
Right.
It doesn't have to be something like that. That is what actually the spirit world tries to tell us and remind us. And so when we try to help other people, I never forget that factor of it. And I'm sure you don't either, because there is such a true side to that.
Oh, I bet.
Yes.
Yeah, I bet.
Well,
go ahead.
No, I was going to say, you made me think of something.
Yes.
A lot of times, I think what we're experiencing, I don't know if we can talk about this or not, but a lot of times it's karma because of past life.
Yes.
And a lot of times what we are experiencing is a challenging life or a not challenging life, depending on what we've decided that how much personal growth or spiritual growth that we wanted to bring into this lifetime. So your road might be easier or trickier than mine, depending on how many lessons you decided you wanted to learn and how challenging you wanted your life this time around to be. And
now, I love this, so you even talk about it, have you ever had your own past life visions?
Oh, many times.
Your own, right.
Many
can you
times.
Explain one to us that you've had before.
A past life vision that I've had about myself?
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
Just one,
Okay.
just one.
Oh, God, there's so many. Which one to pick from? One of them was in the medieval times.
Yes.
I was I guess I was a seer. I was reading for kings and queens.
Yes.
I was not reading angel cards. I don't know what I was reading. I was either reading rocks or stones or
Yes.
whatever tool they used at that time.
Yeah.
But they would they would come and get me. I was like secluded in a different room, or I was kept housed in a different area, and they would come and get me as they needed me, and I would read for the kings and the queens and the higher ups, and then I would be brought back after.
Yes.
Kind of, I'm not saying I was Nostradamus, but kind of on that type of, and I don't know the time period. I know it was the medieval times, though,
Yes.
because I could tell by my attire and
Because
that.
if anyone ever watches historical TV, they do discuss that King Henry VIII, his
Right.
father,
Right.
they all believed in astrologers and psychics.
Yep.
Right.
And
sure they did.
it was
Yeah.
amazing.
Well, in even
And-
recent times, I
Right.
think
Yes.
Ronald Reagan, President Reagan,
Yes,
Right.
believed
it's
in
known.
psychics and
Yes.
astrology,
Yeah.
and
It's so
actually,
true.
A lot of famous people, too.
right,
Yeah,
a lot of
yeah,
famous people
yeah.
have and
Yes.
have called on them to help them with that.
Yes, it's
but
true.
let me pursue this. So, does everybody have past life regression?
That's my belief, is that we all have
Yes.
past lives. It's a personal belief, but I
It
do
is.
believe that we've all been here before.
Yes.
So when you have you done this, by the
Oh
way?
my gosh, yeah. that's
come I've
huge
never
with
done
me.
it?
I know.
You don't know what you're
That's
missing.
huge
Yeah,
with me.
well, I
You know
might
what you're
not
gonna
want to
do?
see that part
Yeah,
of it. I
you're
don't
gonna
know.
come to my office so we can do a past life session.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be
But
good. Yeah.
Just help our audience and myself understand, because you two really know this.
Yes.
And I'm listening to it saying, okay, so tell me what you saw or your feeling, how you knew you were back in medieval times. Do you see a picture?
I could
Oh,
see
it's
myself.
You can.
Yeah, I could see myself. Personally, it was
Yes.
myself. There's different ways to do this too. I was regressed by a past life regressionist.
Yes.
A friend of mine does it herself. So we were in a group session when I did this. Debbie
Right,
does it as well
right.
too.
Does she put you under? Are you hypnotized?
It's kind of a it's
like a
hypnosis.
it's
yeah,
like a heavy
it's a guided
meditation.
meditation, a
Yeah.
hypnosis session
Put you
or
in
whatever.
Not,
So you
not necessarily
It's like a
you can
hypnotized,
talk through
but
it,
just
right?
in a
It's
state
exactly
of
But
relaxation.
right.
you're
Okay.
still able to
You can
hear
still have a
things around
conversation
you.
and talk
Right.
or whatever. But so yes, I could see myself. I could see the attire that I was dressed in. Sometimes you can smell the smells.
Yes.
Depends
Really?
how much you go under.
It's
yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
It is,
pretty
it's
cool.
really true.
That's really cool.
Debbie has taught a class at her
Oh, yeah, I
house
do,
that I've
yes.
been to one time, and we went back in. Can we talk about that?
Yeah,
We
of
went
course.
back into the one that I'm thinking of is
Yes.
King Henry.
Yes.
Or one of the kings. I'm
That
not
was
sure.
amazing.
And we
King
all went
Henry.
as a
Woo.
group, and we all saw different things that were happening
can I
in
tell
that.
you, we
So
had like
not women.
15
So you're all
people.
in this group
Yes.
together. How
yeah,
many? how
there
many?
was
15 there was
15 or
15
20. Yeah, there was a lot of
15.
people.
And we
1-5.
all had something happen, and all of us were brought to emotion and tears.
Yeah.
I swear to you.
So do you
it
all go back to
happened.
the same period in time?
Yes,
In that
'cause I
particular
brought them
instance, we
there.
did, yeah.
Yes, I brought them there.
Here's where I'm going with this, because
Yeah.
I think this is interesting. So if you two went back to a period in time that you were together,
Yes.
We should try
Oh,
that.
we do. I know.
We should try
does
that.
evolution now bring you back together again?
Yes, because I
Yeah.
have a belief that everyone that we are in contact with today
Yeah.
has been in a part in our lives before.
Like a soul family.
It's like a soul family, and
Really?
it's like a little spider web, and we're
Yeah.
all still interconnected in some way.
Because doesn't that drive to deja vu?
Yes.
I mean,
oh, yes.
is it
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
we joke about it. It's certainly been, joked about
Yep.
a lot. But
Right.
truthfully, we all have deja vu
Right.
at one
Absolutely.
time in our life.
Yes.
Few people could ever convincingly tell me, I've never experienced it.
Right.
I mean,
Right,
we've
right.
all
Right.
walked into that room. We've all seen that individual.
Yeah.
Yes.
We've all
Yeah.
sat in a show like this and said, I did the show before. I know I
Yes.
did.
Right? Seems
Right?
familiar.
So is deja vu tied to that past life?
I don't, and now what I deja vu
Yeah.
is that we actually leave our bodies for a little bit to have an experience, and then they come back. And what happens is they deposit it in the subconscious, which I always talk about in the show, that we have a file cabinet full of all memories there. So they file that memory in the file cabinet. So this way, when the deja vu happens, you remembered or thought you've done it before because you did, because our little spirit left the body, had the experience, and came back.
Came back.
So that goes into you had questions on telekinesis, on
Right.
things like that. That also is kind of goes with this as well. Remember when the show Star Trek, and they used to go inside that bubble, and
Yeah.
then they would disappear and they'd show up somewhere
Right.
else. That's like for physics,
Right.
quantum physics.
yeah,
And I believe that we are able to do that, because and that has to go with the past life thing. I can actually go into past life. If we left here and I went home and just took a quiet moment, I can actually go back to a past life in a snap. Like it was
Really?
no big deal to me.
Now, let me ask you, both of you, can you pick the period of time you're going back to?
I
or does-
can.
You
I-
can.
yeah.
I can.
it hasn't been my experience to pick it. I just
Right.
whatever spirit wants me to know.
Yes.
But giving you
That's really cool.
and I'll give you an
Yeah.
example. This is a funny story, and I'll make it really, really quick.
Oh no.
No.
Go
I,
ahead.
I was
Are you
with
clear?
I was with a guy years ago at the Monarchs game. We were at the arena, and it was something that I was interested in, and I walked by him to get to the bathroom, so we were facing each other, and I looked up because he was really tall. I looked up into his eyes for a moment, and I felt like I was falling backwards. Like my back was to the stadium, like down at the arena, and as I looked into his eyes, I flashed back to the Roman time period where the Roman arena was
Right,
going,
right.
Yes.
and I saw him in the arena, and I saw myself up in the stands, looked completely different. And I mean, this all happened in
Right.
instantaneous,
Instant.
but I could see it all happening.
Exactly.
And in that moment, his eyes were looking for me, scanning the audience. He was fighting to his death, and he didn't know where I was. Our eyes locked moments before he died.
Wow.
And in that moment, my eyes locked with his in this lifetime, and I'm totally getting
Yes.
goosebumps.
Oh, yeah.
And I flashed all the way back to that. And I just was looking at him. I was like, okay, that was weird. That was my first experience
Right.
with experiencing a past life.
Right.
So it wasn't that you were experiencing something without him. He was the actual person there.
He was the person, and in our past life together.
right.
I flashed back, and
But now he's in your life in recent times.
he was years ago. Yeah.
Yes. So
Yeah.
is
So
that
there's a connection there.
interesting?
Yeah.
There
There's
is.
a connection.
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
to me, it's not like that you looked into his eyes and kind of flashed back to your time.
No,
and
that-
some
that eye
gladiator was
contact.
fighting
Right. No.
lions, right?
Right.
That eye contact brought me to that memory.
Right.
It
It's
brought-
the
it's
exact same guy.
It was.
It
Yeah.
is.
Wow.
So
It was
Can
crazy.
we call it energy? Can we call it quantum physics? Because I've been reading books on physics. Very, very interesting stuff. So going back to the very beginning of the show, and I know Lisa can say this too, we still question what we do.
Oh, God.
We do. We say we can't make this stuff up.
Oh, my God.
We don't even know why things happen.
I had an experience on the way in here
On the
that we
way
were
in
laughing
here.
about. Yeah.
Well,
You know?
this goes back to and people talk about this all the time, and I happen to believe in this.
Yes, yeah.
But love at first sight.
Yes.
You know,
Me too.
yeah, no, but
Right?
how
Me
does that
too.
really
I
happen?
believe
You know what I'm
it.
saying?
I-
It does. I mean,
yes.
I've experienced it.
Me
So
too.
Sure.
there
Yeah.
isn't any doubt that there has to be a prior connection somewhere that when you
Absolutely.
meet someone, whether it's in a dance club or in the
Yes.
library
Right.
or someplace like that.
Yes.
When you have that instant feeling,
Your soul is recognizing that soul.
Absolutely.
that's correct. It has to be.
is.
I mean, what else
Absolutely.
could it be? Because
is.
you don't get that every time you walk into McDonald's, for
do
example.
not.
You know?
No,
You do not.
You don't get that in Dunkin' Donuts with
right.
the girl that's standing in front of you.
That's right,
So,
that's
or the
right.
guy. So it has to have some sort of linkage to the past to say,
Yes.
Right.
why do I look at this individual?
Right.
Or why do I meet somebody for the first time and I really like them?
Right.
I mean,
Right. Or you really don't like them.
Right. Again,
really don't.
going
It
to
goes
that
both
gut
ways.
feeling.
Correct.
It
Yep.
goes both
Correct.
ways.
That gut feeling.
I knew, and because what we do for work, we try to keep confidentiality as much as possible.
Sure.
So, like the things we're sharing with you, if you notice, we're never dropping
Right,
names or
right.
anything like that.
Right.
So we may leave something out here and there. But I was at a post office one day, and there was a gentleman in front of me. I don't want to call him a gentleman, and I knew what he did to kids, and it really bothered me. And I had my kids with me, and he looked at my kids in that way that I saw him as, and it really bothered me. So me, because I just had this really awful feeling, and as he walked away, I just happened to say, "I know what you do."
really.
And he looked at me with that glare in his eyes, like I just knew it.
Wow.
And I wasn't afraid, and I didn't, and I said, man, I shouldn't have said something. At the same time, I had to
Just
say
knew.
it, just so he knew that I
Right.
knew. You know what I'm saying? And it was also the way, if the kids weren't there, maybe if
Maybe if you hadn't looked at them.
if you didn't look at my kids, and you know what I'm saying? So maybe, but at the same time, I just felt, okay, so I was shown that for a reason, and I had to say something.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
And we don't
So-
get things for nothing. No
we
reason.
don't
There's
get things
always
for
a reason
nothing,
that
yes.
we see or
So
feel
I'm
or hear
hoping
something.
because of that, hopefully he stopped. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So we don't know, but it just is one of those things where we have no control over it. Or the other, we get a lot of, again, going back to the questions of when people say, well, do you use this for yourselves? I believe that if we were selfish enough to do this all the time, because there's a selfish side to what it is that we do, it can be slightly just removed for a little bit, just so we can fend for ourselves and have
Well,
to deal with things like a normal.
You and I shut down. When
Oh,
we were with
yes, we
family, when
do.
we're with friends, like
Yes, we
people ask me
do.
all the time, "You must feel tired. You must always be on." And I'm like, "Oh God, no." When
No.
I'm out with friends or family,
Yes.
whatever, I'm completely off. I'm not working. I
You
mean,
just
Yes.
you
no.
can actually turn it off.
Absolutely, because I want to enjoy my time with my friends, and I don't want to be
Yes.
hearing. Sometimes, clearly, if
Right.
you're meant to hear something, you're going to hear it regardless.
Right,
But
right.
for the most part, like you shut it down
I
too, right?
certainly do,
Yeah,
yes.
Because
Yeah.
it's important. We have to have our personal time as well too.
Yes.
Now, do they want these higher beings, these higher level energy?
Mm-hmm.
And I love the word energy. And
Yes.
one of the things we talked about is having this roundtable discussion
Yes.
in September. Because the girl that's coming on next week does vibration.
Yes.
Yep.
You know, it's pretty interesting. But a lot of the terms she uses, you're using. I mean, it's just
Yes.
interesting
Yeah.
to see that.
Energy is energy.
And that's the synergy, yeah, but that's
Yes.
the synergy between groups. But I guess what comes to mind is, can a spirit guide warn you about danger?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
They can.
This
Yes.
is my belief, and then you can chime
Yes,
in.
oh, go ahead.
This is my belief. Angels and guides, loved ones, whatever, they're not meant to interfere unless you ask for their help. So my
right.
belief is that they're here to let you experience life and live your life and learn lessons, whatever. If you ask them to come in on your behalf, that's why I always tell my clients, if you want some assistance, you need to ask, because otherwise they're just going to stand by and watch you unless it's a life-threatening emergency.
Right.
If it's a life-threatening situation, they will intervene, if
Right.
they're
Right.
supposed to. Other than that, they just kind of sit back and go, ha, 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 she's struggling with that again.
Yes,
Yeah, so,
exactly.
so let's go to if they're supposed to.
Yeah.
And let's go to the recent thing in Orlando.
Yes.
50 people are killed.
Yes.
If any of them were psychics or mediums or practicing in that, would their spirit guide had said, hey, you shouldn't go to the club that night, there's going to be a, you know.
If it was their time, right?
Yes. You
You see where I'm going with this,
And
Deb?
we don't know that some of those people didn't leave because
don't
they had
know
that
that.
hunch.
Right.
They might
My
have
point
walked
exactly.
out earlier
Right.
without knowing,
That's right,
or
that's
without
right, yes.
telling anybody that
Right.
they did.
Yes, and it's odd because sometimes, like even like where we are a few states away, before it happened, I love my hot baths, and I was preparing one, and I heard gunshots, and
You
it was 3
actually
days
heard that.
before it happened. So, and then when it happened, so I can assume it's for a client.
something's
Yep.
I can assume it's for a case I'm working on because of my appointments. I can assume this, but it was very scary because it happened at a time when I'm supposed to be very relaxed, just bathing, and then heard it, and it was repetitive. And when I heard it was something automatic that was being used, then now I understood
Right.
why.
So could you, as
Yeah.
a psychic,
Yes.
say to your spirit guide, tell me what's going to happen next week, so I can avoid it from happening?
I don't know. If
Or are we
that's
destined to
hard
go through
that's
this
hard
from
to
that
say,
way?
too. We are destined to go
Yeah.
through it sometime
Okay.
because when I had my car accident, I actually heard the week before.
Yeah.
Because I never should have walked out of that car. I heard the week before the loud crash. If anyone's ever been into an accident,
Yeah.
I heard it the week before. So I have goosebumps.
But
so
your spirit
I
guide
didn't know
didn't-
who it was.
But your
Well-
spirit guide, excuse me for a second.
Yes.
It didn't come through and say to you,
No.
don't drive next week.
Right.
Because.
No, not specifically
Right,
that.
so see, I have goosebumps.
And right
Yeah.
before 9/11 happened, this was
Yes.
my gifts were just, they were,
Right.
I had them, but
This is
my
true.
parents were going on a trip. They were going to Paris. And it was like 3 or 4 days before they were supposed to be leaving. So it was
Yes.
probably early September because it was a
Right.
few days before 9/11. And I remember going to my mom's house. I had this feeling in the pit of my stomach for 2 days. And I didn't know. And I remember going to her house and begging her not to fly.
Yes.
All I said is, please don't go on this trip. And she looked at me, and if you're watching this, sorry, Mom, but she looked at me and she said, for God's sakes, Lisa, we paid thousands of dollars for this trip. We're not canceling it because you don't feel good in your stomach, And I said, please.
You had bad clams.
I said, please don't go. And I said, I don't know, I don't want you to fly. They flew and they were fine, but they got trapped over there. And
Yes.
and 9/11 happened, and I'm getting confirmation
me
again.
too, I know.
But it was a plane, and I had said to her, don't fly. So I didn't know what I was feeling,
Right.
but my guides were sending me information about bad things with planes, you know what I mean? So
Exactly.
they didn't tell me specifically, but
Right.
they were showing me planes.
So people sitting out there right now, if I was sitting in this
Yes.
audience, I'd say, then why don't the spirit guides take us and help us avoid all of these strategies?
Well, sometimes
here
they
to
why
learn
do.
don't they,
lessons.
why
But
don't
Bob,
they come to
do.
you and say, 9/11's going to happen. You need to get in touch with somebody, and because this is going to
I
happen.
think
But
they did to
though.
some people,
they
right?
do that though.
Yeah.
And the reason why, like, say, because I walk the dogs a lot, and my spirit guides will say to me, "You really shouldn't go down there. There's
Yep.
a mountain lion." You know, so then you'll hear it. Do you know
It
what
will
I'm saying?
actually,
yes.
you actually
so they
get
do
this.
warn us.
And I've
sometimes
heard
to
don't
certain
turn
things.
right, keep going straight, you know, like
Really?
avoid
This
accidents.
is true.
Yeah, I
so
have heard that
sometimes
before
they do
too.
do that. There's other, what Lisa was saying earlier is that sometimes they cannot stop
Interfere.
what is supposed to happen.
Right.
There's
which
lessons.
is unfortunately, these unfortunate violent acts that
Awful.
happen, which is unfortunate with my car accident. But you know what? That car accident led me to absolutely get freedom from everything that I was dealing with and brought me in a whole different direction where I was supposed to be. So do you see what I'm saying?
Can-
It's
Yeah,
like-
and,
Can I
and the
share-
other evidence of
Yeah.
that has to be that if we're not intuitive, like most of us,
yes.
you know, when you take a right instead of a left. I'll give you an example. My grandson and I, he's 12, we were coming out of Walmart
Yes.
in Epping, and I said to him, you want to go 27 back to Raymond, or you want to go 101? And we were in that lane. And he said, I'll go 101, Grampy. Well, I took a left. As I took a left, a car ran the red light at that
Oh.
intersection. And, you know, I just caught something out of my eye. I swerved this way. The guy in this lane swerves the other.
Yes.
And this truck goes by us.
Yeah.
Now, had I gone straight, it would have
Right.
definitely hit us.
See,
There isn't
that's-
any doubt in my
Absolutely.
mind.
Yes.
We wouldn't have been able to avoid it
Right.
because he was too far through the intersection.
right.
And the only reason we missed it, I was on an angle and he was coming this way. Had I been
Wow.
this way, we would have got it.
Amazing.
So,
But you had asked your grandson, so intuitively you knew who to ask. Your guides were
Yes.
telling you.
Exactly.
Yeah,
You
check
just
with
said
that.
it.
Goosebumps
Yeah,
again.
so
that was my point of that.
So
Right.
yes, it is.
So even though maybe we don't realize,
Right.
Right.
You're
that
following
our
the guidance.
angelic
Well,
guides are
the
saying,
best way I
Yeah.
can try to tell people, and Lisa knows this as well, is our minds are built in a couple of different spots. So consciously, we all know we're sitting here. We all know that we're taping a show. There's a
Right.
yellow tablecloth. If I pinched you, you'd feel it. Then there's a subconscious side to it. I know there's a subconscious side to it that's where our guides and the universe actually talk to us, and
Right.
that subconscious is from the ears back. So the voice, like she was saying, that she hears is coming from a higher source, but because she's still using partly the conscious mind, she's using it as her own voice.
Right.
However, the subconscious mind is where we dream, where we
Right.
imagine, where we create, where we work, where we file everything, where we, absolutely everything you
Absolutely.
can concoct to
Right.
think, fantasize, it all in the subconscious. But that's also where we get our information from. So next time, like I try to tell people, just to pay attention. If you just thought about candy canes, was it here or did you think about it back here? So it's like you got to pay attention to where the information is coming from. You can actually feel it.
And
If
like
it's
with
coming from here or
mediums,
here.
where the energy
Yes.
is coming, that's who you're talking to. Like for you,
Exactly.
if it's on this side, it's maternal. If it's on this
It's
side, it's
true.
paternal. If it's up here,
Yes.
it's grandparent. If it's down here,
That's
so
correct.
energy is energy. You know.
Yes.
See,
Yeah, they have
I've
their own
always thought
placements.
medium psychics, and astrology,
Yes.
those type of folks. It's scientific proof that we only use 10% of our brain power.
Yes.
I mean, the brain is one of the only organs that really has not been explored.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like the ocean floor. It's just there's so many things
Right,
we don't know
right.
about it. So I think folks like you are using 15% of the brain power.
Yes.
You follow what I'm trying to say?
Yes.
And geniuses. I
Well-
think geniuses are using 25% of their brain power. And I think if people opened up to that said, I have the capabilities, I would like to learn, then that's how they expand that 10%.
It is. It
right?
is. And not just that, but there's so much more education that we could, my gosh, we should just do another show about this. And Lisa would agree with this too. It's everything that we are ingesting. So like, I don't watch the news. I don't,
Oh, me
I don't,
either.
I don't like anything that's
You don't watch the
drama.
news?
I don't
violent.
either.
I do not.
No, and I
Nope.
stopped watching certain TV shows
That's
too.
correct. Violence, anything of
Absolutely.
that sort, because it's energy that actually comes through
Yep.
the airwaves. It's energy that comes through when we're
Negative
reading
energy.
it on social media, and you're reading it, and all of a sudden you're ingesting it, and you're feeling it's very hurtful.
Especially
to our
being an
systems.
empath, yeah.
And people don't realize that's what they're doing. And if you notice how angry everybody gets, why? Because they just touch the energy nerve, and that's what ends up happening. So you can have so much compassion about everything that's going on, but it doesn't mean you have to go into it like everybody's going into it, because
Right.
it's just so
Well,
like
we're saturated with
overwhelming,
news today.
overwhelming.
Right,
yeah.
right. So
Negative.
overwhelming.
Yeah. I
And I
mean-
feel like if I'm meant to know it, then I'll know about it. And
Yeah.
it's
I think it's Channel 7 now is doing
Yes.
4 hours or 5 hours in the morning.
It's
just
too
news.
much,
I mean,
and it's always repetitive, and it's always bad
very
news.
repetitive.
For once, tell us some good news.
But
So
see, that almost goes to the conditioning.
it does.
Because
That's
if
that's
you
what
watch
we were
3
just trying to
newscasts in a
say.
row, you
That's
watch
right.
the same story 3
Pretty
times
much.
in a
That's
row,
right.
and it's
Yes.
imprinting on your mind that story.
Thank you.
So, it
Yes.
kind of drives to the conditioning factor
Yeah.
again. That I'm watching this
It is
negative,
true.
and,
Yes.
of course, I think they expect another Orlando massacre
I know,
soon
which
because
is
of
very
copycat
sad.
theory,
Right.
And that's because somebody's watching this saying, "I'm going to do this."
That's right.
I'm going to do it.
And-
Look at all the
and-
press they're getting.
It is. But what's very sad though is what people don't realize is how much money everyone's making off of all this press.
Oh, huge money.
Come on, you
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Lisa,
It's
give us
just
your
sad.
website, would you?
Oh, my
Yes.
website is lisauellet.com. So it's my name, LISAOUELLET.com.
.com.
And I have some events coming up in the Raymond area as well too. So if anybody's interested, they can go to my website to find out where I'll be.
Yeah.
But what I want the public to know about Lisa as well, because everyone who comes to see me does ask me, do you get readings done? I do, and she's right here. So, so they know my secret weapon is this
This
one.
is that
you
physician
know?
heal thyself.
Right, yes, it is so true because I'm a very private person, and you don't want any. It just. I hope everyone's like that, but it's because some things come up or happen, and you need someone who's confidential and really good at what they do. She's it
thank
for
you.
me.
Yeah,
And
I always say to my dentist,
Yeah.
"Who do you go to?"
yes,
Right.
And he said, "Why?" I said,
Yes.
"Because it's got to be real good if you go."
absolutely.
I'm going to the wrong guy here.
Yes,
you know?
and I want the
I
viewers
feel
to
the same
know-
way about Debbie,
It is
too.
true, but I
Yeah.
want the viewers to know like her information will be in the credits, so this way they can look up and find
Sure.
her as well.
And I think people at home have to understand that if you're interested in this, then
Yes.
you should pursue it because
Yes.
this show really is about inform and educate.
Right.
So
Yes.
don't take the show, look at it, say, "Oh, that was great and that was interesting,"
That's
and then
right.
move on.
That's
Right.
right.
Go to these websites.
That's right.
Yep.
Google Lisa's
That's
name
right.
because I'm sure if you Google it,
Oh, yeah,
all the
it comes
information
I'm
will
out
come
there,
up.
yeah.
Yeah, she's everywhere.
I'm
Yes.
You do
I have
a radio show.
I used to have a radio show. I do not anymore, but
Yeah.
those are still online. I do psychic readings on free psychic readings on my YouTube channel,
Yes.
so that's out there.
Yes.
If people want to do a monthly, see
Yep.
their monthly. I'm very active on Facebook.
Yes.
I have a Twitter account, Instagram.
But you
Things
got to
like
go
that.
research
Yeah.
these things.
You
And you got to
do.
go talk to people.
do.
And I think you said earlier, Deb, referrals to me in this is
Oh
huge.
yes.
Oh, yeah.
And-
Go to people you trust and say to them, who do you
Absolutely.
use?
Right,
Absolutely.
and that's one of the. I'm honored. So thank you very much.
Oh,
that
yeah.
that means a lot to me.
Well, I
that-
want to have her back again. Around
would
the
love
to come back again.
September,
This was so much
period, because
fun.
she does a lot more than this. So people don't know
Right.
the other gifts that she has. So oh my gosh, we could talk for another hour.
Well, we're gonna do the roundtable discussion.
Yes.
And that group keeps growing.
Oh,
mean,
I
we
know.
started it was gonna be
Yes.
Deb, myself, and
Yes.
somebody else. Now I think we're up to 6 people.
Yes.
And I'm so excited about that.
Yeah.
We're gonna make that a longer show.
Yes.
Because we're gonna have 6 very professional
Yes.
people all chatting about what they do. But it'll be interesting to me because next week we have a girl coming on that deals in energy and
Right.
adjustments of energy. And a lot of the things that I saw her do in her first presentation is just what you two were talking
Yes.
about tonight. So,
Yep.
Lisa, thank you so
Oh,
much for
thank
being
you.
on the show. We
It
had
was
a
a
great time.
pleasure.
I knew this was going to be a high energy
So
show.
much
I'm
fun.
excited.
Can you feel it?
Yeah, we want to get you back. So.
Yes, it was great.
Next
Thank
week,
you.
we have Energy Works coming on, and they do
Yes.
biofield adjustments. They're going to bring on some tuning forks, and you're
That's
going to be
awesome.
our test case.
Ooh.
Yeah, you can come on if you want next week, and we'll use you as a test.
Ooh, I'd
You wanna
love
do
to.
that? Okay, we'll work that out.
Yes.
So stay tuned, and thank you for watching
great.
Paranormal and Beyond, and have a great evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.